Hey there guys, I'm Will and welcome to FP1. Now with feeder series such as F2 and F3 getting more coverage over recent years and the popularity spike of IndyCar and Formula E, I thought it'd be a good idea just to take a look at some of the up and coming prospects as well as some of the more experienced drivers yet to turn the wheel of a Formula 1 car and just discuss their potential and possible routes to Formula 1 over the next few years. Now let's start then by looking at Formula 2, possibly the best place you want to be right now if you want to secure that Formula 1 seat. Now last year, Lando Norris, Alexander Albon and George Russell all graduated after successful campaigns and made a good start to their F1 careers. There are several drivers here I'd like to focus on, starting with Nicholas Latifi. So currently lying second in the standings after round 16, Latifi has secured several FP1 outings for this season for Williams as their test and reserve driver. He's got 4 wins at the moment in the F2 season, and I predict him to be probably the one that gets to F1 fastest on this list. Given his Williams links and Robert Kubica's constant struggles this season, don't be surprised to see Nicholas in that Williams car for 2020. So 3 other drivers to focus on F2 then are the Renault Juniors, Jack Aitken, Guan Yu Zhou and Antoine Hubert. Now Aitken, who was runner-up in the 2017 GP3 Championship and now in his second season of F2, has already secured 2 wins this year in Baku and Silverstone, and given his recent run of form, could very possibly make a title challenge in the second half of the year. Now the 2 rookies, Zhou and Hubert, have also made flying starts, probably just need another year just to mature before they can step up to Formula 1. Now the obvious destination for these 3 would of course be Renault, but only Nico Hülkenberg's seat is available this year, so all 3 will be battling hard for that. Now team boss Cyril Abiteboul did say a few months ago that the team would be looking around the grid before renewing Hulk's contract, so don't be surprised to see a new face alongside Danny and Rick next year. I think we're looking maybe more at 2021, 2022, as I think Renault probably will stay with Hülkenberg and Ricciardo next year, but in the future, these 3 are definitely 3 names to keep in mind. Now finally, we can't discuss Formula 2 without mentioning Mick Schumacher. F3 champion last year. It's been a bumpy start for the German so far, but he has shown glimpses of talent. For example, in Austria, where he came from the back to score points on pure pace alone. And there have been some murmurings of him partnering Raikkonen at Alfa Romeo next year. That's if Giovinazzi can't find his form in the second half. But I just think Schumacher needs another year just to mature. I think he's even said himself that he'd prefer to stay in Formula 2 for another year and just improve his driving ability before he follows his father's footsteps into Formula 1. Moving swiftly on then into Formula 3, and there have been some very, very exciting races this year. Take, say, Austria, for example, we had both Prima drivers Robert Schwartzman and Marcus Armstrong clashing in the final laps, giving the win to Jake Hughes. Now, all 3 of those drivers I can see graduating to F2 this year, and with Schwartzman and Armstrong both members of the Ferrari Driver Academy, don't be surprised to see them battling Mick Schumacher for that Alpha seat in maybe 2021 or 2022. So Red Bull Junior, Yuri Vips is also someone to keep an eye on. I mean, look at his commanding win in race 1 at Silverstone, for example, and you can see why several people have been tipping him for an F1 drive, maybe even as soon as next season with Toro Rosso. But I think the main problem with him is that he hasn't got the super license points yet. He needs a year in F2 just to gain those points up and just mature his driving style a little bit more. But in 5-6 years' time, I can see that man in a Red Bull if he keeps his current form up. Now then, let's look to IndyCar, see if there are any drivers there that could sneak into Formula 1. Now the obvious candidate is Red Bull Junior Patricio O'Ward, especially with Gasly's issues at the moment. And like Vips, he has been linked to that Toro Rosso seat since getting the call up to F2 in Austria. Now arguably he's one of the most experienced drivers in the Red Bull program, especially now Dan Ticktum is out of the picture. But it is a little bit unclear how many super license points he actually has after some of the races in Indy Lights couldn't have counted due to there not being enough cars to start the race. Now that said, if he does contest a full F2 season next year, I can see him stepping up to in 2021. But I think what's probably more likely is him doing another year in IndyCar, getting those super license points that way, and then maybe finding a way in. We'll have to see. Finally then, let's have a look at Formula E. Now it's a series full of ex-Formula 1 drivers, so what we're really looking for here is someone who's beating them off consistently. And there's only 2 people that really stand out to me that match that criteria, and that's Jaguar's Mitch Evans and Nissan's Oliver Rowland. However, despite both of them having exciting seasons and brilliant seasons in Formula E this year, I can't see them making it to Formula 1 next year. Maybe in a few years' time, we'll have to see how their form develops. And mainly that's due to their lack of links with F1 teams at the moment, and we know how important those links are, at least in this modern era of the sport. But just as a final point then, can we quickly discuss Jean-Eric Vergne? Now F1 fans will remember him for the short time he spent at Toro Rosso between 2012 and 2014, but since then he's gone on to take 2 back-to-back drivers' crowns in Formula E, and with increasing speculation about Gasly, one point that maybe I did overlook in my Gasly video was the possibility of Vergne taking out of the Red Bull seat. If Alex Albon doesn't maybe work out and they don't want to promote Kvyat, could Vergne be an option? I think so. You just never know in this sport. But those are just my thoughts, and the purpose of this video really is just to see what you guys think. So is there anyone I didn't mention here that you think could be in for an F1 chance? Who would you love to see test their mettle in an F1 car? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and of course subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.